We're gathered here today to talk about Star Wars Theory's fan-made film Vader II: Echoes of the Jedi. I'm gonna just be honest, I was blown away by this movie, and I think there are different elements to it. I'm gonna get into it in the video, but it's just to say, look at the power of what fandom can do. So right off the bat, I'm just gonna be honest and just say I am not the most media literate person, so the way I'm gonna express how I feel about this is not gonna completely articulate what I'm thinking or what exactly I'm trying to say. So I'm gonna do my best to explain and just express what I really loved about this fan film. And really it was just from the moment this video started, I was I didn't really have any high expectations or anything. I was kind of okay, this is gonna be a fun or entertaining thing to watch. I can't wait to see what all these years they're able to create, this project they've been working on for years, and to actually see it, and to kind of see all the work and effort that they put into it. And we've seen sneak peeks before, so we knew it was going to be something that was going to be high quality, something that everybody was going to be blown away by. But to actually see it on a screen, I didn't get to go. I would have loved to travel out to go see this fan film. Literally, if I had the money for it, I would have been on that flight and flew all the way out there just to have the experience, just for funsies. But I didn't have the opportunity. But nonetheless, I was able to watch it at my brother's house, and I had a blast watching it. I can only imagine what it was like watching it on a big screen, because I feel like it's definitely something that you'll look at and think is meant for the big screen just because of how it looks. But from the moment it started, I was locked in. I've never been this excited about anything Star Wars in a long time. Not saying I haven't been, but this genuinely had me hyped. And I feel the more it went on, the more I was dang, look how cool it looks, dang this, dang that, dang, the voice acting is amazing, just different things, just the effort that you could just sense, when watching this film. It looked great, the voice acting was amazing, the story was amazing, the emotion, the energy, the vibe, all of it, it was just perfect. You could feel that dark energy, that the emotional part of it. You could feel the amount of I don't know, I don't really know how to say it. It's just you could feel it, especially when it came down to the Jedi, and just how the position that they're in, the remnants of what is left of the Jedi coming together to go on this mission that is for sure most likely going to end a lot of their lives, when there are already very few of them already. They're willing to put their lives on the line, knowing that this is most likely a death sentence. You're most likely not going to come out of this situation. And as we saw, a lot of them did lose their lives, unfortunately. We see even how dark Vader and the dark side and whatever is willing to go to even sacrifice their own people, which I honestly was not shocked by that. I was I don't think Vader's gonna give a fuck about these troopers. I'm just gonna be honest. So the fact that it was just kind of okay, whatever, all y'all can screw yourself, all you guys are screwed, we don't care about that, kill him or don't, actually we'll kill him for you, you know what I mean? So kind of seeing that, but then also seeing how the Jedi, even after kind of being defeated first time, being injured, but just then coming back together to and not running away, but being okay, yeah, we're gonna finish this out, tough this shit out. You can definitely tell that for them, it wasn't about coming out of this situation alive. They're gonna do their darndest, they're gonna fight to the end, knowing that they put their all into it. And you could feel that and sense that, and it's honestly emotional in the sense of I feel bad for them in the sense of everything that they've known, all that stuff is just gone. Just seeing the people that you've maybe worked alongside of, something that you've been a part of your whole life, pretty much being gone and taken away, not only just with the Jedi, but just seeing overall how the war has impacted so many people, maybe not even feel they can really do anything about it because they themselves are being hunted and different things, or not even just that, but just the whole thing. We consider all of it is wow, literally this moment for them is just they really have nothing to lose, you know what I mean? There's nothing to lose. And so with every Jedi death within the film, it was you definitely felt it. For me, I felt it. I was dang, another one down, man. But it was definitely amazing to watch. The fight scenes were engaging. I was whoa, this is the ruthlessness. And that's another thing too, just kind of seeing even the fighting styles being a little bit more ruthless. It definitely shows how the war has changed them, because of course, being a Jedi and stuff like that, and being a part of the whole Jedi beliefs and everything, at this point, with everything going on, I'm sure a lot of that doesn't mean, it means something, but I mean, of course you're trying to survive at this point. You got to be a little bit ruthless in certain senses. So just seeing this cutthroat way of fighting, even when Windu came when Mace Windu came in and would just murk their asses, I was oh my gosh, oh my god, he that was so satisfying to watch. I can't even lie. And so just like him, especially Mace Windu, just seeing this ruthless version of him, and just even the way he looked, just his aura, his energy, you could just tell. I'm like, yeah, this war has changed all of them. All this stuff they're changed. They're different, like, you know what I mean? And so it's just like seeing that, it's just like crazy, you know what I mean? You could feel the impact on what had happened to them, and like, you know, everything that was going on during this time. And to see Vader and Windu, you know, finally face to face after Vader thinking that he had killed Mace Windu, and being faced with the person that, well, actually his first real, like, you know, betrayal, like that was kind of his, like him solidifying himself in the dark side, was when he turned against Mace Windu and seemingly killed him. And at this point, I mean, like I say it solidified because at that point, like it was like just his full transformation into the dark side, because literally right after that he went to go kill some kids. So you can't even like get any lower than that. So to see both of them kind of shoot shots at each other at being failures in different ways, especially like Windu talking about Vader's failures when it came to Padme and the mom. And then Vader shooting shots at Windu, failing the Jedi, or like, you know, like having that, like putting that pressure on him. You're responsible for these Jedi's deaths. Like any more of them that die, like you're on, like that's your fault. So it's kind of interesting to kind of like see that, because it's kind of like Windu facing the person that betrayed him and almost killed him, honestly. And of course Vader being faced with probably a lot of memories. Honestly, it's more than I expected it for it to be. But I think what makes it even more exciting for me is the fact that this is a fan film.
Impressive. Most impressive.
You know what I mean? Like, I think it's so cool to see a creator bring a massive vision like this to life. I know that, you know, of course, there's a lot of money and stuff that went into that. It's not even about that. It's just that you could feel the amount of intentionality and thoughtfulness that was put into this movie, into this whole thing. Was it absolutely perfect? No. I'm sure there's probably things about it that some people would probably, like, you know, maybe have issue with or whatever. But for the most part, you can't deny the fact that this is what we need, not just with Star Wars, but across the board when it regards any franchise. We need people that want to tell stories, that are passionate, that just want to create. And I think it's a masterclass on what happens when you build or you make something or you create something out of love, grit, and passion. That's the biggest thing. Like I said, when you create something, or when some people see that, like you can feel that through the content, whatever the case might be. You know when something is actually made out of passion and love. And I feel like this is an example of that. So it's definitely powerful to just see what can happen when you just create things. Because even with Star Wars theory, right, like for him, for example, like this is something that I've already talked about just in general on this topic of people just creating things and the impact that can have for just anybody, like everyone, you know what I'm saying? I actually have a video I already recorded that I was supposed to put out, but I'm putting this out first and then I'll put that one out, which kind of goes into that a little bit more. But this is like a perfect example of what I'm going to be talking about more in that video. And so he was already making videos and fan films and stuff like that even way before he had the money to really fund anything. So it's really just a passion project, like just loving Star Wars, just doing it for the love of the game, you know what I'm saying? With this particular project, he had the funding to be able to, you know, self-fund the whole thing, and he had to make a lot of sacrifices to make that happen. And because of copyright and IP issues, like he couldn't monetize this film, so it's not like he's making any money from it, which is unfortunate. Well, I guess it makes sense, but at the same time, the amount of effort and the team behind it, I can imagine that's a little bit upsetting, but that's not the point of it, which is what makes it even more like admirable. From what he's told us, like he's poured his own money and some revenue from Theory Sabers, which is his business, into the production. And so like knowing that there's no direct monetary ROI on this whole situation, like I said, is pretty admirable. And I know he was stressed about it because I used to keep up with like the news and stuff on it, but like because he was so passionate about it is why he continued to invest the amount of money that he did, because I'm pretty sure he invested millions into this whole thing. He had to pay the team, he had to do all these different types of things, so he was responsible for all of that. And I will always love and respect human artistry, because like just think about how inspiring it is to see a real artist, animators, crew members, whoever he had on his team, like how they were able to put this together without using cheap AI shortcuts. Like you can feel the intentionality within every frame. And I know he's touched on AI before. I know that he's not necessarily completely against AI, but he does believe in, you know, human made art from what my understanding is. But the point is that it was kind of cool. It was definitely cool, because I'm definitely one type of people where human art first. I don't care. Human art all the way. That's what I want to support. That's what I want to see, which honestly makes me happy, because like because he had the ability, like he did not have to use AI. You know what I mean? Like some people don't have the funding to be able to just say, oh, I'm gonna make this, I'm gonna hire these animators to make this or whatever. A lot of people don't really have that option, so some people do use AI. But because I think it's kind of cool that even though, he could have went the AI route, he didn't do that. He was able to actually hire actual people to make it. But nonetheless, I think it makes it even more amazing for me personally, the fact that AI wasn't using, he actually had actual artists do it. But to me, that just makes me admire it even more. Like, wow, actual people made this. Like, that's crazy. Like, that's awesome. And so for me, that just makes me even more like hopeful and excited, just like to see that this is what humans have made from passion, from just the love of the game, for just wanting to create something. And it's really cool too how he was able to rent out a theater, a venue, a free screening for fans to come and to watch the film as well. I thought that was so cool. Like, I would love to do something like that someday. It's something so different to be able to create something and share that with the rest of a fandom, or just what just for like just the fun of it. Like, why does it always have to be about like money or certain things? Like, just doing it just because you want to share something that maybe other people also enjoy as well. I just like the idea of doing that. And I definitely think that in this day and age, like, I think audiences want authenticity more than anything. I think with the rise of like indie horror and like different projects made by like smaller, like people who are not necessarily established in the industry. Like, for example, I already used this example like in a different video that I'm going to be posting, but Obsession, right? Like, this is like, it was created by a dude that just loved, he'll literally just make like little films like on YouTube, or like he'll also do like comedy videos, which I love his comedy videos. And so to see somebody like that, like just a regular dude that was just creating out of the love of the game to create something that blew up so big, it's amazing. And so I think that people can feel when you're genuinely passionate and you have an actual story to tell. People love to see authenticity. And I think a lot of people are fatigued from generic studio releases. Like, we're tired of seeing the same stuff over and over again, or just seeing things, it's just kind of like you just feel that it's for just like the money grab of it. Like, it's not even from real passion or really having anything to really talk about or any stories to really tell. So this is my thoughts, especially to people who are creators, who love to create, or like just people who like just be an everyday person. Maybe you just you have certain passions, certain things that you want to do, certain things that you want to create. I think this is a great example of just like understanding that you don't need like a massive Hollywood machine. Like, you don't need to have any fancy gear. You don't need to have everything be perfect to just start creating right now. Like, no matter where you are or what you have, like, just do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, as Nike quotes, whatever says, like, just do it. And it's literally just that. You just have to do it. Especially this day and age, and just noticing how a lot of these like regular people are creating things that people love way before there's even like profit in it. Like, just for example, like, you know what I mean? Like, you just never know like what you actually taking action on it could take you, you know what I'm saying? And so it's really important to just do. I'm sure Star's Theory never thought that he'll be in a position right now to be able to create something of this scale, being able to fund it, especially like, that's a pretty big deal to be able to do that. Not everybody's in that position, like I said before, but like, that's why it doesn't matter. Like, just do it. Like, we need it. And I think this is an example of like, we need this, like, as fans, as people who love this type of shit. Like, we need it, because like I said, I've never been this excited about anything Star Wars in a minute. And so to see something that got me pumped like this, like, it just makes me want to go back and rewatch some Star Wars movies or something like that. And I feel like that's the point. You know what I mean? Like, we need these type of passion projects. And I'm not an expert on Star Wars whatsoever, so I'm not trying to come in here and say, oh, I know everything about Star Wars. Like, even just explaining Vader, like, I recognize faces. I know the significance of certain characters to an extent, but like, I'm by no means a genius, so I couldn't break down every single part of what made this amazing. And that is a point. Being somebody who's like kind of in the middle, like where I am learning more lore in Star Wars, I'm learning more about different characters, different things. I genuinely enjoy it, and it's fun for me to learn and stuff like that. Somebody who's kind of in the middle, where I'm not like an expert, but I'm also not like a complete noob. Like, to be able to be in the middle and be able to like look at it and be like, wow, like, this is actually, like, this makes me want to know more. Like, this makes me want to know more about the characters, makes me want to know more about just everything, you know what I'm saying? Like, it makes me want to just immerse myself in the universe and learn as much as I can about different characters. So that way, when I see these different things, I can understand more like the significance of certain things or whatever, like, that's what it should be about. And I feel like when you watch something that makes you feel that way, that says a lot about the creators behind it, because that's how you should feel, you know what I'm saying? And so I guess sometimes, especially these days, you don't always have that feeling of like leaving something and being like, whoa, I'm blown away, which is why I think something like Sinners and Obsession and these different things have like made people so excited. Is because we rarely get that feeling anymore, where it's just kind of like, wow, like, this is amazing, where you just kind of like it, like it just kind of just switches something in you, and it becomes like your hyper fixation for a little minute, just because you enjoyed it so much. And so for something like this, I feel like this is something that I feel like no matter how much knowledge you have on Star Wars, is something that will most likely probably move you. Not speaking for everybody. It's something like I feel like we need more of, and I feel like we need more fans creating things. Like there's literally just one like person that I've watched. He does like Teen Titan stuff. Like he's a big Teen Titan fan, and so like he makes short films with his friends or whatever like that, where they dress up as the characters and they do like different like short films and stuff. I love that. I think that is so cool. So in the age where we weren't really getting a lot of Teen Titan stuff, like you have these fans that are out here like, you know, we'll do it ourselves, we're gonna create it ourselves. And I love that. And it's the same thing for Avatar. Before we even had any sort of Avatar like content, before the live action show came out or anything like that, we had this group of animators that got together and created their own show, their own story, The Legend of Genji, which I would review in the past because I enjoyed it so much, and I really admired the fact that these creators came together in a similar position as Star Wars Theory, where they weren't able to profit, but they were doing it because they loved it. Just seeing how these animators came together, took time out of their own personal lives to put something like this together was amazing. Unfortunately, they did have to end up ending it or whatever, or not, continuing anymore, especially when the live action show was announced and stuff like that. They just kind of was like, we're stepping away, stuff like that, which is, sad, but I feel like it was amazing to kind of get that, especially during the gap where we weren't getting anything. The fans like stepped up and created something. So just understanding that, like, if you're not happy with something within a franchise that you like, or whatever the case might be, or whatever, like, it doesn't even matter whether you are or you're not. Like, just if you want to create something, then do it, because like we need that passion, we need that energy. And this kind of gives us hope to know that, like, look, this is how good it could be. Like, you know what I mean? Like this, like anybody can just grab a camera or whatever and just start creating something. And so, yeah, we need that more than ever, especially with AI. I feel like we need to have more people creating, and not to rely on AI just to do everything. I feel like, storytelling and stuff like that is so important. And we as conscious human beings have the ability to create new things and new ideas. And it's just that something that I feel like we as humans, like, we have to cherish that. And I have a different video talking about AI, so I don't want to get too much into that, but I just love human work, and I feel like that's something that we should definitely cherish and not take for granted. And don't take yourself for granted either. Like, I feel like some people underestimate their intelligence or what they're able to create, and so just do it. You know what I mean? If you don't feel like you're good at it, just keep going at it, and until you get better. Like me with these videos, I know I'm not perfect. I know that my videos aren't always perfectly structured. I do it because I love it and enjoy it, and it's also understanding too that I'll get better at articulating myself. I'll get better at editing. I'll get better at these different types of things, forming my videos, doing my scripts, different things, right? And so it's just all about just doing it, creating. And I feel like, you're happiest when you're doing what, you're being creative. You're using that energy. So I don't know. I don't want to get on a tangent. Anyways, that's my perspective. Kudos to Star Wars Theory. I know that he's had, his own little controversies regardless, but one thing you can say about him is that he's created something that's amazing, and he did it without, the use of AI, from what we've been told. It's fan made, no profit. I could give him credit for that. He did that. So good on him. With that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video.